starting to feel like I'm making some decent progress now, but one thing I really want to do is remove this pillowcase that's just covering up the cams, keeping everything clean, and chuck on the freshly painted rocker covers. I got Corey to paint these, just done in a light silver, but before they can go on, just need to give them a light clean out. You can see where I finger wiped yesterday, and chuck the baffle plates in there. I have got, hiding over here, some high octane baffles. They were in there before, but I've just chucked some new foam in them so they can get bolted back in, and chucked some bloody rubbers in them, and then they can go on. So I'll knock that out quickly now. First cover on and I'm wrapped. It does look like it sits higher at the back. That should be sweet. Wait till we see what the fitting actually looks like on the top, but not much we can do at the moment. Just have to wait it out. Just prepping our next cover, so we'll get that on soon. Realised I probably don't have any hardware to hold the centre on, and the front cover isn't going to go on till, well, won't go on today, as I still have to paint the VCT gear and just give the front area a good clean up as well. Also got to set the gap for the cam angle sensor as well. Both covers on, just missing the oil cap, got that sitting over on the bench there. Chucked in a fresh set of plugs, gap down to 0.63mm, or I think that's 25 thou. But yeah, got a nice G-Ready chrome cap. It was only available in the USA, so it was a bit of a challenge to get here. Just finding a site that would actually sell it to me. But there we are, matches the covers. Just going to bolt in R35 GDR coils. It's actually got a Franklin Performance bracket, works really well for the Neos. It's got little adapters. But yeah, we'll get them in, and then I'll set up the new cam angle sensor, as the other one's broken, so I just have to dial that in. I'm also going to try and just put a little bit of a light machine on the front of that. See how we go. Funny how much things can escalate really quickly. It's starting to look like a decent setup in there now. Spent a bit of time with wet and dry paper, polished up the outer edge of the cam angle sensor. You can see when I bought this front cover, the hole was already drilled into quite the wrong spot, but doesn't hit. Nice new hardware everywhere. Just a couple of billet tabs down the bottom there, just to stop the wires going anywhere they're not meant to. This cover is just loose at the moment. Just wanted to see what it'll look like in place. I like it. Yes, I got to get the intake manifold on, but I don't want to do that quite yet in case I've forgotten anything. Managed to get the wiper motor on yesterday. Nice hardware around that one as well. Just trying to tick away little jobs at the moment. This water line hanging over the front still has to be modified and changed to go into the radiator. I might place the radiator in just so I can get that done, so it doesn't have to be done anymore later on. Need to run the alternator and starter wiring. I might knock that out soon. And mount the power steering pump. It's just chilling over here. It's got a bit of a bracket on it at the moment. Half the wiring is there. Won't take too much to get that in there. Most of the jobs now are pretty easy. It's just there's 100 or so of them. I actually get asked quite often how I manage to get so much done in a day. Well, so much done on the car, and it's that I'm willing to spend 12 to 14 hours a day and 2 to 3 hours after every work day out here, just to keep pushing through. Even last night I woke up at about, well, I couldn't sleep at about midnight. I came out here and spent an hour working away on a bit of wiring issues. It's the only way I get stuff done is I just keep working on it. Had a little bit of a disappointment. When to put the tail shaft in, which I knew was going to be very close to the wrong dimensions. This bugger here, and he's about 5mm too short, even fully extended, so I'll take him into the shop tomorrow, see what they can do, and I'll check on my axle for this bugger when I'm in there too. But I figured, bugger it, I've had something go wrong, let's make something go right. So we got the intake on, genuine G ready, front facing intake. Doesn't look good. While I was at it, I also chucked all the wiring loom that I could plug in. There's only 2 or 3 plugs left to be sorted, so that's not bad at all. And that's only because they're not there to be plugged into. So a little smuts on the back there. Gonna grab the radiator out, measure this front line up. That way it's good to make when I'm ready for it. And then I'll probably start going under the car, take this wheel off, doesn't need to be on there anymore, and make the full drive line, the attessor line, back to the gearbox. That way I can start tucking them up. Tomorrow's going to be fuel lines, and working on the dash. I've got all the wires marked out there, so it's good to go. Tuck the fuse box up, work out where that's going to go. Best bit about it, once the fuel line's done, I can finally close up the boot, all those little dicky bits. So I just need to blow the lines out now when I cut them. Pedal needs to go in too. I feel like I've got hundreds of odds and ends jobs now, but only one thing to do, and that's just keep knocking the little ones out. Even the likes of front coilovers, just waiting on front hatch from the top hatch from Shockworks. They shouldn't be too far off, they're on their way. Then I can get all the front knuckle assembly, everything on. Can't really tell, I'm not lying on the ground again, but the rear brake line is now complete. Just starting to piss around with the attessor pump, not the attessor pump, sorry, the power steering pump. So it mounts with the lid just off. Might even go up a touch higher. Nah, that's probably alright there. So we'll see. So to fill it up, pretty simple. Just lower it down and then add the fluid in. Should never have to fill it up once it's full. 2 holes are going to work out perfect. Front one, I'm just going to have to cut that bracket down. I'll just use this hole here. Just chuck a rivet nut in. Fortunately my drill died before doing the bolts, the rivets under the car, so off to Total Tools I am to get another drill now. They say new drill, new me, no excuse to get back into it now. Going to drill out the holes for the rivet nuts, get them in there, get the lines done up, and then got no excuse to move on to the next step. Might even do all the power wires for this as well while we're at it. So the new drill did its job. All the holes are drilled, all the rivet nuts are in, the pump's mounted. Still got rubber isolators, so it does well, these are noisy and vibration, quite a lot of vibration from these pumps, so that'll help a little bit. Wires are running up there, connecting into the loom, which is still just roughly sitting there. Want to run everything else. Got one more lot of power to run from this bulkhead, and then that can be done up properly and tidied up. As for down here, the signal wires are run into the car, just have to terminate them inside the car. Got a little circuit breaker there as well, just in case. Pretty basic thing, just have to do up those 2 nuts. And yeah, like I said, nice and tight to the lid, so get it off the ground as much as possible, which is good. A lot of ground clearance. Trying to work out what the next job is. I can't actually connect the lines up to the rack yet. Well, I could, but I've forgotten what one's the high pressure, what one's the low pressure on the rack. So I need to do some googling. I'm not going to do that right now. Might mark out this water hose and then have a little bit of a pack up before I get into the next job. And I'll end it there for the night. A few little things finishing me up. Just chucked the radiator brackets in there, made up that water line, so she's all on there. Chucked the heat shield on the back of the turbo just because it looks nicer and it's been getting into my way wherever I've been storing it. But yeah, starting to feel like I'm making some decent progress. Next up will be attacking the wiring inside the car, getting the dash to run, so you'll see that in the next one.